waiting. Hello, Thomas. You okay? Thank you very much for
Hello
being with
everyone,
us.
how are you?
Fine. Can you unmute yourself? Mute. Yeah, mute. Hello. Yes, I'm fine, Thomas. I'm in Milan. Because we have a program with Bocconi, so I'm in Milan with Bocconi student. What else? What else did I want to say? We'll be ready soon, huh? Okay. So we're still waiting for Eve. So Thomas, can you mute yourself, Vinayak? Alors, there are more students coming up. So Thomas, can you? So basically, so thank you very much to all of you for being with us. So today I'm very happy to receive Vinayak, who was my student earlier this year, because we worked together last spring, and Vinayak. Thomas was a student last year, and then Yves Adisangora was my student a long time ago. I'm very happy that he agreed to come. So we'll have a student from all over the world today, because Yves is from Africa, Thomas from Belgium, and Vinayak from India. That's, by the way, what MBA Center is about today. And of course, I'm very happy to receive Anandita and Shivani, who are currently preparing the application with us, and we are two super bright students for London Business School. So, Thomas, can you tell us more about yourself? Okay, because you have a bit an unusual background for an MBA candidate.
Sure. But great to be here. So I'm a former business lawyer. I wanted to expand my career's possibilities 2 years ago, and I decided to do an MBA. Right now, I'm doing the MBA at LBS. I'm in my second year, and if you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to answer them.
Of course. So of course I'm sure that they have a lot of questions for you. So Thomas, that's not doing an MBA. So can you tell us, because we spoke together regularly. So tell me what happened to you between August 2020 and now. What have you done in the last 15 months? Exactly.
That's a challenging question. So I started my MBA last year, so 1 year ago, in the midst of the pandemic here in the UK. So I guess what I've really done is, for me, like coming from a background of being a lawyer, like the first months were very academically interesting, in the sense of that I learned so much from LBS during the first year. So I didn't come from a very analytical background or like a figure background. So for me, it was a lot about learning, and it was also a lot about meeting people from all over the world, which was incredibly interesting for the past year. I didn't do an internship last summer because I've got some personal projects going on. But I mean, usually MBA students like who do like a 2-year program, they do internships at very, very interesting companies over the summer. But yeah, it was a lot about I guess learning and about discovering.
Okay, so tell me, Thomas, you've been to law school because you went, yes, because you did your masters in Belgium. So how is different a business school from a law school?
Yeah, that's a good question, I guess. So I mean, the question really is, what's the difference between a business school in the UK or the US with a law school in Belgium? A law school in Belgium is really, a teacher speaking in front of 400 or 200 students. Here, I guess the difference is that the the classes are taught with a small range of students. I won't say we are a class of 10 or 20 people. It's a bit more than that at LBS. We classes of 60 to 80 people, and the difference is that there is much more debate. So the interesting thing is that, of course, you need to prepare stuff before class, so that you have an interesting conversation about it during class. So there is much more interaction, and that's really the main thing and the main difference with law school in Belgium, and that's what makes it really interesting.
Okay. So, and before I ask you the question, so what are your plans? I remember that when we met, you wanted to work in a private equity, in a private equity fund. Is it something that you want to do? Is it something, have you changed your plan? How has the MBA helped you nurture your personal project?
Sure. Well, I don't know the backgrounds of the students on this call, but to break into private equity, it's immensely tough. If you want to go to a very traditional PE firm, like to be very honest, you need to be an investment banker, or you have had to work at MBBs. For myself, I'm currently looking for a job in private equity real estate funds, which is pretty doable actually. But that's not really the traditional PE firm. So for me, it's going to be either private equity real estate or consulting firm.
Okay, that's your plan. So you're in London today? Yes. From the window, I can see that you must be in London. Huh?
I am.
From the window, I can see that
I am.
that it's a London window. Okay. So Yves, I've not seen you for a long time, Yves. Okay. Thank you very much for being with us. And I was surprised because I know that Xenia, she knows my contacts and she contacted my contacts. And of course, when I heard about Yves at Goa, I said, but wow, he went to HEC a long time ago. Of course, I'm so happy to see you. And we have diversity today, India, whatever. So Yves, what happened to you since HEC? Tell me about your background, because I've not talked to you for such a long time, like 8 years, 10 years maybe. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitively. Well, a lot of things happened. Actually, for those who are discovering, well, for those I'm meeting for the first time today, I did the HC MBA in 2006. And, well, it's been a while now. After the MBA, I started my MBA at HEC, then went at Chicago, GSB, for the exchange program. So after the exchange program, worked for a Spanish strategic consulting firm where I was doing a lot of engagements in Africa. This was actually the first time I was working in Africa, doing a lot of strategic projects in many different countries: Nigeria, Congo, almost, Ethiopia, Kenya. Then worked on my own as an independent consultant. As I was a bit tired of, working on my own, went back to corporate business as a senior consulting manager for Logical Business Consulting, which is now CGE Business Consulting, where I was managing projects and teams. Then, well, I left Logica in 2012 or 13, if I'm not wrong. I was hired by Deloitte in Africa to run the business, to start, the consulting activities there. Started it from here, but ended up, just, deciding to do something else. 2 years later, I joined Amex as a consulting manager, where I was one of the founding members of the consulting team in France. And since the mid of this year, I'm the acting consulting director for EMEA. So I'm covering, I'm leading a team which is providing with consulting services to all Amex most important, most valued customers across the EMEA region.
Okay.
I was used to travel to London at least once per month until Jan 2020. But with the lockdown, I'm locked in France. So
where are you now? You in Paris or in Africa? Where you, Yves? Where are you now?
Right now, I'm based in Paris.
Okay, yeah.
I'm based in France. So one of these days, Uber, if you still have your offices in Paris 8e arrondissement, I will be more than happy to come and
Yeah, of course,
greet you there.
we're opening a a branch in Paris in February. So we'll be happy to welcome you. And by the way, the director of MBA Center will be an HEC graduate.
Okay,
So
that's
thank you very much.
great.
So yes, she will be with you, and I'm still in contact with Erin Bopa. That's a lot because of a project for Africa. Because you have launched an organization called MBA Africa with Eric Bompa, and we have a plan together. So I hope that will come soon. Vinayak. So what about you, Vinayak?
Yeah, so I'm right now currently pursuing I have an IMBA from IE Business School. Previously, I was working for EY and KPMG. I have experienced in risk consulting, strategy, project management for 5 years. I started my career with EY, then for 3.5 years, then I moved into KPMG, more in a strategy oriented role. Then post that, I thought like I'd already planned my MBA, so I guess it was an ideal moment for me to pursue an MBA, and IE was the right slot for me. So like this is pretty much about me. In case you have any specific questions related to the curriculum for IMBA or related to me, just let me know.
Okay. So basically about your project, because I met you. So every time I go to Spain, so once a month we meet now. So hopefully I will meet you this week because I will be in Madrid tonight.
Sure.
So tell me, what is your plan now? You mentioned consulting in Dubai. Someone, there's a microphone that is on. Okay, there's an echo. So tell me.
There are a lot of opportunities open up. That's not specific. I'm not specific towards Dubai, but Dubai is kind of an ideal place right now because of it's a tax haven, and for Indians it's specifically easy to get a visa out there. There are visa problems specifically for consulting in Europe, but I guess it's not that much, and you need to do your homework well to get through it, which I got to know like over the past couple of weeks. There are a lot of opportunities in Europe as well, specifically in Germany, in Madrid as well. I was shocked to see that that companies like Amazon and others like EY and KPMG in a country like in a city which is mostly Spanish, like there are Spanish speakers. They're hiring native English speakers as well. So there are opportunities around. So I'm still stuck around Dubai and Europe, but let's see what the future brings up.
We'll see what it gives. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, I have a question. Thomas, I have a question for you. So if you can mute yourself, by the way, I'm going to mute you, Vinayak. So a question for you, Thomas. So Thomas, so basically, as you know, when we write applications, students have a lot of questions about how to customize the program, what is life like in a business school. So how did you customize the program? Meaning, will you do an exchange program? Will you have an exchange program this year? Okay, so I think that you have an exchange program every at the last semester. And what are the electives that you have chosen year 2? You're on mute, Thomas.
I know yeah. So in the beginning, like at LBS, I mean, I can only speak for LBS. So you have core courses which you cannot choose. It's the same for everyone in the beginning, but it's very useful because those are really like common classes, like I don't know, like finance or strategy 101, which you cannot choose, but those are very, very good classes taught by top professors. And after then, you can choose some electives and some they call it tailor courses. Anyways, myself, I choose a lot of strategy and economics behavior classes, and some real estate classes as well. We have so many; it's incredible. You have more than 100 classes to choose from. You have to choose about 10 at LBS. Yeah, I mean, you can basically choose in which classes in many different fields, or you can really choose to specialize in one field. You can do either one of the two. So yeah, I mean, I can send you the whole portfolio of classes if you want. It's pretty impressive.
Okay, and tell me, will you do an exchange program starting this January, or will you stay in London?
Well, because the school was closed for almost half of the year last year, I choose to stay in London. However, I'm doing like a small exchange with Colombia next term, but it's a very short one. It's a 3-week long exchange, so
Yeah.
it's not that much, but there are so many exchanges if you want to do them.
And you wanted to stay in London because you want to take advantage of life in London. You want to take time to find a job there post MBA. So you think it's the best time for you?
Exactly. I
to
mean,
stay?
my objective is to find a job in Europe. And because London was closed for a few months last year, indeed, Hubert, my choice is to take advantage of London. Exactly.
Okay, so yes, of course, I understand, because what you have to understand, all of you, is that LBS is quite a small school, and of course, very reputable. They are number 2 in the FT ranking. So there are a lot of students who want to come to study in London. And since you have a lot of students who want to study in London, so London has a lot of opportunities to send their students abroad. Probably you have more coming from abroad than students from LBS studying abroad, because there must be such a big demand for LBS that it makes. No, what do you think? I'm sure that there's a lot of demand from abroad to study in London at LBS. Yeah?
Well, I mean, LBS is exchanges like with schools like Wharton or Kellogg, things like that, or even Columbia. So I mean, there's a big demand in the States.
For them as well. For them as well too. Yeah, yeah. I understand. In terms of life, that's something that, of course, when we are with students, we browse to check clubs. Okay, they know pretty well clubs. Okay, at LBS it's easy to find them. Which one have you chosen, and which one would you recommend?
I mean, the clubs.
The clubs, yeah, professional, personal, internet.
Well, it's really up to you, right? I wouldn't put any pressure on anyone to absolutely need to join a club. Myself, I'm vice president of the real estate club, which is a nice club. It's not too big. There are certain clubs which are immense, like they are huge. I'll take, for example, the consulting club. Of course, they have hundreds and hundreds of members. I've chosen a bit of a smaller club in which I think I can make a bit more impact. But then, as I said in the beginning, it's really your choice. So you have professional clubs like consulting club, PE, VC club, and then you have sports club as well, in which you can be involved. And then you have, of course, like the how can I call them? Maybe the society clubs, like for example the Out in Business club, like for the LGBTQ community, which is very society driven. I mean, there's so many, and I don't think it's either a bad or a good choice for any of them. You just need to be comfortable and try to make an impact at your own small scale.
I've heard, Thomas, that the most popular club at LBS is the rugby club. Is it true? No, that's what I've heard.
I don't know if it's the most popular one, but it's definitely a fun one.
Yeah. Because I have students, girls, who told me that they even started to play rugby at LBS. So they play what we call touch rugby.
That's true. Yeah. For the girls, it has been a big thing. Yeah, a surprisingly big thing. Yeah, touch rugby. That's for sure. Yeah, they're in Barcelona right now.
Barcelona.
They're playing this weekend a game in Barcelona, actually. Yeah.
So yes, it's a big thing. Okay. So thank you very much, Thomas. Your best memories at HEC in class? Hello? Sorry, Greece. Greece? Hello? Eve, sorry. So Eve, your best memories in class? Sorry, Eve.
my best memories. Well, actually, to be really honest, let me just, there are a lot of noises here at home. I have some guests. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
My best memories. Well, look, when I did my MBA, to be really honest, the best part of the MBA was when I did my exchange in the US. Nonetheless, when I was doing the MBA at HEC, The most interesting part was not actually academical. So we built a team to compete for the student board, which was really one of the most exciting part of the program. So we had a team which was composed of at least 10 different nationalities, people from India, from Pakistan, from France, from certain countries of Africa. And it was just great. The second thing we did was the MBA tournament. I don't know if with the pandemic, they are still, hosting the MBA tournament. In fact, there is an event which brings in Paris many students from different MBAs from Europe. So we have people from LBS, people from INSEAD, and people from also MBAs in Spain.
So from all the schools, if it's all the schools, so you have Oxford, Cambridge, LBS, IMD, IDC, Bocconi, all the top schools joined the MBA T. Okay, and you, what did you do? You played. What did you do? You played what? Tennis, sailing.
I was one of the organizers actually.
Okay.
I was doing volleyball,
Okay.
but in the meantime, I was one of the organizers. I was leading, if I'm not wrong, yes, the logistics. So I was the one who booked properties for the students.
Okay.
So it was, really, really impressive. And
Yeah.
to Thomas, you are doing your MBA at LBS, right?
Yeah.
We
But
were the
you
organizers
didn't
of the
attend last
event.
year, Thomas? You didn't attend last year because it was cancelled last year. No, they did it, but for HEC only. The MBA tournament was for HEC students only, from what I remember, from what I've heard. Yeah.
Yves, I hope to participate this year actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope to participate, yes, because it will be in 6 months. Yeah, it's in April, May. Yeah.
Look, Thomas, 15 years ago, it was just funny because LBS won almost 90% of the competitions.
How come?
Soccer.
How come?
The thing is that sometimes LBS 1 was playing the final against LBS 2.
Yeah.
Really?
It's probably because they don't work, they don't study a lot. That's probably why, they play the cooler school. They don't study a lot. And I've heard that the worst one is IMD, from whatever. It's IMD, it's the worst one. They always number. So, and this year, do you think that the team is very good, Thomas? Are you expecting to win the Grand Slam?
Well, I definitely agree with Yves that the best memories are outside of class, right? They're created outside of class.
Really? Yeah.
Well, exactly. And I made a lot of good friends for life, actually. It's, to be really honest with you, Hubert, I don't think that I learned so much. Well, yes, I learned in a certain way. I did. My initial background was in engineering. I'm an IT engineer, so my initial background is in engineering. But what I learned the most in HEC, at HEC was around, finance and strategy, and also human resources, which I'm still using today as a director or as a manager. But I didn't learn more than I did when I did my undergrad. But what I did learn a lot there, nonetheless, was how to deal with people from different culture, how to and I think at the end of the day, this is what you need to succeed in a global, environment. Because at the end of the day, you can, open the finance book and understand everything. There, you can, open book, a microeconomic book, and gain a lot from there. But you will not have you will have once in your life the chance of interacting with people from 50 different nationalities. Each, yeah.
So basically, what you're saying, Yves, is that what you gain maybe from the MBA is the interaction, the network, personal development. That's what you gain. So basically, what you learn in a school, you can learn it by yourself, but at the same time, you need to have time for that. But the rest is invaluable. You agree?
Exactly. If I can add one last thing, Hubert. When I was doing my MBA, there was something I really found really original and interesting, which was called the Visions of Leadership. And I still remember this, it still resonates to me today. So during the Visions of Leadership seminars, um, the the administration of the HEC MBA administration was bringing many leaders from different sectors. So they brought Alain Juppé, who was at the time a former prime minister. They brought in the CEO of one of the former CEOs of Coca-Cola, uh, who came there and shared his visions of leadership. The someone else came there, and so at least we met with five CEOs of big companies, cake 40 companies. If I'm not wrong, we met with someone from the FYTE stock, and it was just great to be in front of these leaders and to understand how their visions of leadership and their path till becoming the CEO of their organizations.
Okay, so that's something important. Tell me, Vinayak, I've heard that you party quite a lot. Is it true?
Participate a lot. Yeah,
You
that's
participate a lot. You don't party, but you participate. Okay, yeah. So you participate. Okay.
yeah. So Madrid is the place to party a lot. yeah, but
Outside that, but you take advantage of life, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's of course I totally agree with both Thomas and Eves. That there's life beyond your actual classroom. At IE we started off we kicked off our semester in so on September 6th. So I believe we have a lot of connects. So every Thursday or Friday we have designated connects to meet outside the classroom, go out when there are no exams. So after our classes end around 2 o'clock or so, and then we go out for beers. That's kind of a in a schedule. So we block a schedule accordingly. So that's the thing. But yes, I'm still new to IE because I've just completed just a term. So I'm still kind of figuring out as to what it's are, because our semester is quite compressed, so we don't have much time during the day to go out a lot. But yes, we do keep designated time slots to go out, interact, have those network connects as well.
Okay, and of course, Madrid is a place to party for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So Thomas, something that we're all interested in, okay, the admission process. So what it is to apply to a top business school, and what has been your journey, and what is it to apply, and what would you advise? Basically, all the students who are here are our students, by the way, and they are registered with us, but at the same time, they're in the process. Some are preparing the GMAT, some have passed the GMAT and now preparing the application. But they're all our students, Kirti, Shivani, Anandita, they're all our students. But so what is it to apply, Thomas?
Well, the application process is the worst part of the MBA, I guess, because it's a bit of an uncertain process. It's not the funnest one, of course. It's hard. That's how they judge. That's how the MBA school judge you. It's really on the application itself. I guess for me, again, I have a different background than maybe most of people. I was a lawyer before, so for me, the GMAT was pretty hard. It was kind of a pain in the ass to be honest. But you really have to focus on that. Then on the application, you see the SS that you need to write. Well, I think Hubert, you maybe remember that for my LBS application, we did it in a few days. It was pretty short actually. I spent my most time on GMAT, which wasn't really fun, but at the same time, coming from a very lawyer background in high school, I only had 3 hours of mathematics a week. I kind of fell in love again with simple maths, with algebra, in which I feel more comfortable right now. And to be honest, it is useful. It is useful. It has been useful. I mean, for the algebra at least, for me coming from a non-mathematical background. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true that it was. So basically, yes, the biggest part of the application for you was the GMAT, being a lawyer, okay? And of course, for lawyers, GMAT is a long process. And then yes, for the application, anyway, remember, Thomas, we didn't have much time. Huh? We met in late March, and you know, we had like two to 3 months to apply. Huh? There was very little time, and you got accepted to LBS, HEC, and IMD. Huh? You got accepted to the 3, okay? Which is very good. Huh? That's why you see Anandita or Shivani, you have to see that the admission process can be pretty fast. We do with you a pretty long admission process, but you can do that. And then Thomas is a very good writer, so he writes very well. So of course it's easy. You know, he gets ID very well, so he writes very well. Of course, you, Shivani and Anandita, you're all engineers, so it's more difficult. But remember that Vinayak is a very good writer as well. Huh? So Yves, what was the most difficult part for you of the application process?
Well, look, I don't know if you remember how I came to the MBA center, but it's really funny because I was at the time working for Capgemini, and Capgemini had 2,000 euros allowance to improve my English. So at the time I was writing in English because IT, everything is, the tutorials are in English, but I was not, communicating. So I came to the MBA center, discovered, and this is where I became aware of something which was called MBA. I didn't know that the MBA was existing, actually was a degree. Okay. In my mind, you could be an engineer, that's it. And then I decided to apply for an MBA. It was, a struggle. I'm not an English native, so I did learn English at school. So, first of all, the TOEIC was really tough. The TOEFL was really tough. And the GMAT happened to be, at least the analytical part was really easy for me, but the other part was a nightmare. So I spent a bit of time, working, spend at the MBA center, Hubert, improving my, my speaking, my verbal.
Yeah, the verbal section.
Yeah, exactly. Then I think once, because I took the GMAT, I think test twice. So then when I got a better GMAT score, we agreed to apply to, the thing is that I didn't have a lot of, I did not have money actually to do an MBA outside of France. So we decided to do something to apply at HEC because HEC was also had some scholarships.
Okay.
And with your help, I think we built a strong story, which ended up being really, really helpful. Because at the end of the day, I received thanks again for that. I did receive 2 scholarships. One from the French government and the second from Africa.
Okay.
So
and how much did it cover? Like 20%, 30%? How much did it cover total?
In total, I did receive 16 out of, at the time, the MBA cost was around 40,000. 16 out of 24,000. Out of 40,000, sorry.
Yeah. So it was not bad. Okay, it was a lot. It was like a bit more than it was something like one third, which is a lot.
Yeah, Vinayak, which is a lot.
Okay, yeah, it's a so Vinayak, the admission process was a big thing for us.
Yeah, I agree.
Remember, it took us more than 2 days with Thomas. So the exact contrary. It was a long day, and you had plus you had the deadline to respect. For personal reasons, I guess.
Yes.
So tell me, what was it like?
It was a man.
Tell them to how many schools you have applied. We're going to keep it for you and me. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What
So
was it like? What was it like?
it was a madhouse.
Yeah.
I can't even it's just a one-off thing. It's just to do it once in your life. Go and just complete your application and then just get it done. That's the only advice I can give, because I believe that's the most time waste part of your life, because you need to think on a question, on different questions which have the same answer, and you need to answer it in different ways. So it's kind of it's just waste of time. But you need to, yeah, it's the basic requirement for all MBA schools. So you need to be wise at the same point of time. You need to write and think in a different way. It took us I believe months, like I would say months, to actually calculate all of those answers and F. But yes, for IE it was easy, because at the end point of fine, because Hubert was there, number one, and we kind of had we had prepared so many questions for school, so kind of we tweaked it, but the process was lengthy. We had to go through a lot of questions, a lot of letter of recommendations you need to write and get it done. So yeah, it was a lengthy process.
Yeah. It was a very lengthy process.
Yes.
So the question that I have for you now, we're going to transition like this. So,
Yeah.
so how useful is going to be IE to work outside Europe? Because as you know, many students from South America that you have, from India,
Yeah.
you tell me yes, but if I study at IE, should I work in Spain, or if I study at HEC, should I study in France?
Yeah.
Because of the barrier, of the language barrier, and also
Yeah.
because probably they are more keen to study or work in the UK, US, or maybe Germany. So how will IE help you find a job outside Spain, and how is it possible?
Sure. So see, I believe IE has a lot of connections. Like when I started off at IE, I was shocked to see that we kicked off with a careers thing first. So there were companies coming in even before I actually started off with my entire semester at IE, for doing an MBA. So initially they push you for your resume, for your everything, all of that. But just we need to stick to that. We need to get it done, because that's the only time of your MBA phase you have actually to give to your careers and everything, to get your CV done, to get your um, you know um, letter, the career letter done, everything, you need to just get it done beforehand. And IE is very diverse on those grounds. So, like, we have classmates from South America. A lot of South Americans are there. There are nationalities like from the States, Canada, Europe, of course, all across the Europe. So I believe there are just one or two people who are local to Madrid or to Spain, but rest of them are from different nationalities, which gives us an experience to learn from them as to what happens around the world and how to do business from a different point of view. And yes, the opportunities are global, so I won't say opportunities are just restricted towards Spain. They're available globally, all across. So we have a career portal as well, so where we can log in and see what new opportunities come in every single day.
Yes, so you remember that when I came to see you last time, yeah, you showed me that there is every day there was Amazon, and there are companies coming all the time. The school is
Yeah.
very well connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, for example, right now we have Craft, Google, which are hiring for the internships and all, and there are new companies as well which is coming in. So, like, for example, IE also has labs, which is another interesting thing. This year they have, for the tech lab, they've partnered with Microsoft. For the business impact, which is a consulting lab, they have partnered with Johnson Johnson. So
Okay,
yeah.
so it's a very good. I know that they do a lot.
Yeah.
So, Eve, is it true that if you study at HEC, the only place where you can work after HEC is France? Is it true? Is it a
No,
myth, or is it a reality?
no. France is not the only place where you can work after HC MBA. Actually, my first job was not in France. After the MBA, I joined a Spanish consulting firm based in Barcelona, where I think one or two. Well, at the time when I was joining, there were already two former HEC MBA students working there. And at the same time, one or two colleagues, two people from my intake joined. So at the end, we were 5 people from the HEC MBA working in this Spanish consulting firm. Many of my colleagues, at least 20, who came from India, from Japan, from Argentina, found a job here in France. I remember one of them who came from Argentina. She found a job at LVMH. So she spent 6 years working there. Now she is working in Zurich, where she relocated because her boyfriend, who is a Russian, who did also the HEC MBA, joined Schneider Electric, which is a French company, and spent 6 to 7 years with Schneider before now working for ABB in Zurich. So actually, the MBA, the HEC MBA, gives a lot of opportunity. If I'm not wrong, again, I recall one of the MBA participants who joined Schneider Total, then Schneider, and now he's based in the US. So the MBA is a strong international program. And in my intake, there were a lot of people who came from the US, who went back in the US and found good jobs there. So the HEC MBA is, in a certain extent, a tool you can use, to either change industry or find a job at a higher level in the same industry. So, not only in France, actually. And actually, as I was saying there, the majority of the people who found a job in France after the MBA were foreigners, not French, speaking people or French, citizens.
Okay, so I don't know. I want to ask Thomas the same question. So basically, I will answer if he left. I don't know, maybe he got disconnected. So basically, yes. So students have to understand that, of course, we should not be stupid. The place we're going to do your MBA will have an impact on your career. Okay, it's it's pretty obvious that if you want to work in the US, it's better to do an MBA in the US. If you want to work in Europe, better to do an MBA in Europe. Okay, so for 2 reasons. First, because of the visa. Okay, it's if you study at HEC, we get a visa, post MBA visa for a year in France. If you study in Spain, it would be in Spain. So basically, that's something that Europeans have to know, because some Indians have to know. Sometimes when I talk to my Indian students, they say, I will come to Europe. So Europe means many things. So Europe is a continent. Europe is that covers much more than the European community. So basically what they probably mean, they mean European community. Okay. And you have to see that if you have a visa for, I don't know, for Spain, the visa for Spain is not a visa to work in France. So you have to understand that if your objective long term is to work in the US, maybe an MBA in Spain is not the best thing, because the visa that we get post MBA is for Spain. Okay, so as you know, for instance, if you study in the US, you can have something called what is the STEM program that gives you a right to work for 3 years in the US. Of course, HEC or INSEAD will not give you the right to work in the US for 3 years. So basically, the place where you're going to study will have an impact on your work because of the network. Okay, the HEC network is much stronger in Europe than it is in the US, the LBS as well, and so on and so forth, because of the visa. Okay, Thomas, you're a lawyer at the same time, so do you believe that, like most people believe, that if you study in London, you're more likely going to work in London? Is it a myth? Is it a reality? What would you like to add to that? Even though there's a reality as well into that. Yeah.
No, correct. I think the answer is yes. The short answer is yes. If you study for 2 years in London, you're going to create much more chances to work on the long term in London. But then right now, with Brexit, so firms have to sponsor students. I mean, they have to sponsor their employees when they come from different countries. But here, from what I've been hearing, is that usually they do it. Right now, they do it. So yes, if you study in London, you have much more chances to be employed by a London-based firm.
And so you basically, after LBS, you have a 2-year visa. Huh? Am I right? You have a 2-year visa after London Business School. So you have automatically a 2-year visa to stay in the UK. You don't need to have any sponsor, from what I understand.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I have friends from Pakistan, from India.
Same thing for them. Same thing.
They're really looking at visas, but maybe it's
so basically, normally what happens if you study in France, you have a 1-year visa. If you study in the UK, it's a 2-year visa, which is a post-graduation visa. So where it's there's no condition. And usually people will say, okay, you don't have to sponsor me. I can stay in the country for 2 years. Now, of course, you also depend on the salary. Maybe it must be limited to £3,000 per month. I have to see for well-paid job. Maybe it's something I will apply, but normally you have automatically in the UK a 2-year visa, post MBA.
I learn something every day. I didn't know.
Yeah. But you have to ask them. So basically, if you find a sponsor, you say, look, you don't have to sponsor me for the next 2 years. I'm free, and you'll have 2 years to test me. The US is even more generous because in the US it can be, if the program is a STEM program, it's 3 years post MBA. Yves, famous last word. What piece of advice would you give to our MBA applicants?
Can you please repeat the question?
What pieces of advice would you give? I see that you have a daughter. To our MBA applicants. She's integrated.
Well, in terms of advice, well, to be really honest, the MBA, well, I think I don't know if I would have done an MBA these days. I was fortunate to do the MBA. It's a unique, experience. You have the chance of, interacting with, I would say, the smartest people. I'm used to say that, left-handed people are are smarter than the right-handed. I'm a right-handed, but I'm used to say that left-handed are really, really smart. When I was doing my MBA in an intake of 200 people, half of the class was left-handed, and these guys were really thinking differently. It was original to see how they could interpret things, how smart they were. So this is just, a story around the MBA program. So I learned so much on people when I was doing the MBA program. It's I think till today, I don't know if I will learn as much as I learned. I didn't learn in terms of, studies, but I learned a lot on, people's culture. I learned a lot on human nature during this MBA. And there's something I would like to highlight concerning the HEC MBA. So when you do, well, it is probably the case with all the MBAs. With the HEC MBA, you have the chance of doing an exchange. More than half of the intake had the opportunity to do an exchange program. I did mine at GSB. So I had
it's called Chicago Boost now, Yves. Called Chicago Boost. At the time it was called Boost. Chicago GSB, but now it's at Boost. Yeah. And if you say at Boost, you look like the guy who knows a lot about MBA. You say Boost, people would be impressed. So it's a Chicago Boost. So say Chicago Boost now, Yves.
I'm an old man.
No, but sometimes no, but yeah.
No, Boost was also, a great, compliment to what I did at HEC Paris. I was living at the International House of the University of Chicago, where you have more than 100 different nationalities. So I learned also a lot on people, and you also make friends for life. I didn't do my MBA at Chicago. I still have an email which is called, I think, Booth for Life. So I can still reach out to someone from Booth anytime I would need, a piece of advice or support when I'm applying for a job. So I've with my friends from the HEC MBA, whenever I would be looking for something, an information, an insight on the business or on the job, I can reach out to these people, every time. So I think the MBA is, in that sense, really unique. And at the end of the day, you do the MBA after the first experience. This is where, in my opinion, where the MBA is really beneficial. If you do your MBA just after doing your undergrad, you will learn a lot, but you will miss the background to gain a lot from the interpersonal relationships. So this is what I can the piece of advice is I could give you there.
Okay, so Vinayak, the piece of advice that you can give. I know you're pretty new in the MBA, but you have started the process some time ago.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I agree totally with these, and both Thomas, both of them have the same kind of. I also have the same kind of advice as both. Have some experience. You make friends for life, of course, because you network, you work with them on a daily basis. You need to connect with them, work on different opportunities, different projects. So it's all a learning experience altogether. So yes, interact a lot. Connect with people at the same point of time. Make sure you are on top. Like in our school, we say that we have three things to three out of the three things out of the three S you can choose. You can choose two. So there's actually two S and one P. So there's study, then there is sleep, and then there is and then there is social networking.
Okay,
so,
I was scared. I was scared by another S.
So out of the three S, you need to choose two of them. You can actually do. You can actually study or sleep, or you can study a social network. So
Okay.
I compromised on my sleep, and that's more on study and social networking is extremely important. So it depends on person to person where you can choose. That's all.
I thought that it was the 4S, but you forgot an S. You, Thomas? Thomas? Piece of advice.
I think those were very wise words from Vinayak and Yves before. I think my piece of advice, first of all, think really about yourself, about your decision about doing an MBA. Is it right for you or not? Because it's not right for everyone. And if you decide to go for the MBA, well, then just go all in. It's like poker, you go all in. Try to leverage as much as possible this unique opportunity that has been laid in front of you. That's it.
Yeah, that's okay. And thank you very much, everybody. So I'm very happy to show the diversity, the talents, the diversity of our students. Thomas, a lawyer from Belgium, private equity, most likely. Yves, an engineer from Africa, a consultant, an entrepreneur. And Vinayak, also, you have a bachelor in e-commerce, you have a bachelor in commerce, and you future consultant as well. So, of course, it's interesting to show diversity. Of course, this guy, they will all study, they will work in well-paid job. Okay, so either entrepreneurs, either finance, either consulting. But thank you very much. It was very, very nice to see you and to see that you're doing well. And
thanks a lot, Hubert.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much, Yves.